Welcome back to So This is Thailand. Now today on Expert Advice, we're coming back to a subject on skin. We've covered a lot about all the skin treatments that are out there. We talked about Botox, we've talked about fillers and whitening procedures. Now we're going to take a little closer look, we might say, at some of the health that has to do with the skin, specifically skin cancer. So there are some really important things that we need to learn today. And so back on the program with us once again is Dr. Kawit Gampirapap, who is the head of the Department of Cutaneous Infectious Diseases from the Institute of Dermatology. Quite a long title. Thank you very much for joining us again.
Thank you. Hello.
Well, it seems that cancer in general, we seem to be experiencing more cases of it. Not just skin cancer, but many other types of cancer. But especially here in Thailand, we've always talked about the sun here. We're almost in a tropical country, very close to the equator. A lot more exposure, and especially for maybe expats who are living here newly, they have to readjust and know how to protect themselves. Is it easier to get skin cancer in a sunny tropical country than it is, let's say, in Europe or in the US?
In fact, now the incidence of skin cancer in Thailand are increasing. This is because the environmental change, because of there are more UV from the sun that can reach the Earth's surface. Also in this tropical area, also there are more sun than in the past. So the incidence of skin cancer that result from the UV exposure is increasing.
What's the most common type of skin cancer? Or are they broken down types or the areas that we commonly find it in?
There are more than 10 kinds of skin cancer, but the most common one, there are three common. It says three common ones, three common skin cancer. But the most common among these, the most common is the basal cell carcinoma, right? And followed by squamous cell carcinoma, and then cutaneous melanoma. These are the common skin cancer.
I can tell you, hearing those terms, I have no idea what's the difference between them. Now you mentioned the most common, the most prevalent is basal cell carcinoma. Can you go in a little more detail? What is it and how do you treat it, or what causes it?
What causes the major cause is the prolonged or many times of intense UV exposure, sunburn. Right, this is the main cause of this. And basal cell carcinoma. So basal cell carcinoma usually appear more commonly on sun-exposed area, right? And there are some people who are at risk to develop BCC, right? It's the people with very white skin. In the medical term, we call the Fitzpatrick phototype 1.
How can you identify the early stages of it?
Early stage, usually this will occur on the sun-exposed area, but it's very difficult to detect the early lesion. Maybe they appear first as like some bump, papules, right? That grow slowly and may ulcerate later. Some people may develop like a non-healing small ulcers that never heal, that never cure.
And that's actually caused by the carcinoma.
Carcinoma. So you can confirm only that you go to see doctor and make a skin biopsy to do a histopath study in that can tell you that is cancer or not.
Is the treatment similar to other types of cancer you might find in your body? Is there chemotherapy, is there radiation, or do you actually have to remove the skin?
Fortunately, it's the low virulent cancer. Most of the cases usually have the only locally spreading. Means the lesion expand slowly, right? And it's very rare to metastasize, to spread, right, to the lymph node or to other organs. So the main treatment of choice for BCC is only excision, local excision, surgical excision in that. Usually no need for chemotherapy or radiotherapy, no need.
Well, that is good news.
Yeah, that's good news.
But
In case you can detect.
well, I know last time you were here, we talked about all this, the treatments out there for aesthetic reasons, and we touched briefly about at the end looking at preventative measures, and especially types of sunblock and the different spectrums you mentioned, UVA, UVB. Will these skin blocks, sunblocks, will they help prevent your chance of getting a skin cancer?
Of course, it can help because the major cause of BCC is the UV exposure, and I'm going to talk about the other two kinds of common skin cancer. The second kind is squamous cell carcinoma. This also one cause is also the UV exposure, but other is because of we call the appearance, the transformation from precancerous lesions. Precancerous lesions usually appear on the people who have severe photo-damaged skin.
Oh.
And they develop some papules, some scaly lesion that look benign, or after biopsy is benign, but after some time it transforms into SCC also, right? That's also because of the UV, right? But there are some other causes depending on the site of the SCC, right? If the SCC appear in the mouth, on the oral mucosa, so the cause are usually because of the smoking, alcohol drinking.
Well, a lot of different causes, a lot of things to actually be careful and you must maintain.
Yeah.
I know, one quick before we move on, when we're thinking about the preventative measures in these types of cancers, a lot of times, let's say I know I'll be outside. Some people, they just need to go outside and swim and go to the beach. And they'll typically just put, let's say, sunblock on the exposed areas and not underneath the swimwear.
Yeah.
Can the UVs penetrate through the clothing?
UV cannot penetrate through the cloth if it's not too thin.
If it's not too thin.
So usually there's no need to apply the sunblock on the cover area, area under the bikini or something, right? But apply sparingly to the exposed area.
Okay. Well, excellent advice.
And also, it's the best if the people can use the sunblock from the childhood as early as possible.
To reduce the amount of risk you have.
Yeah.
Usually when we get older, maybe it's a little, you've already been exposed too much during your life.
Yeah, and there already maybe some change already in your skin cell.
Now at the Institute, you do have treatments. You're able to diagnose and treat and prescribe treatments for people who have either skin cancer or look like they're developing those types of symptoms.
Yeah. We have experienced skin doctor, right, to make the clinical examination and then diagnosis. And usually we must confirm the diagnosis by doing skin biopsy. Just cut a small piece of skin from the lesion, suspected lesion, and then send for the histopathology study, right? This is very effective to confirm the diagnosis of skin cancer. Yeah. And our institute also have the facility for the treatment of this so-called the early skin cancer, right? We have the operation room, small operation room to do the surgical excision, right, for these early lesions.
Last time, of course, we always want to know if we'd like more information. If there's any questions that you have out there, please do send us in your questions. You can access us on Facebook or through our website, and we can always have the good doctor back on the show. But if in the meantime, do you have a website or phone number that they can contact you for?
Yeah. Our institute's website is www.inderm.go.th, right?
And they can find all sorts of information, how to contact you and location as well.
Yeah.
Well, Doctor, thank you much for coming back on. I know it's kind of a scary topic for a lot of people, but As you mentioned, if you have the proper care, proper preventative measures, well, Doctor, thank you once again. It's been a pleasure.
Thank
Cup and
you.
cup.
Cup.
Don't go away because we have a lot more coming up on So This Is Thailand.
Do you know Thailand has so many artistic people in here? Where can we find out about it? Well, if you come to the Thai Craft Fair, you can actually see all the different villages around from Thailand who will come and display their wares. Now there's all sorts of things, Christmas cards, necklaces, baskets. I think it's really fantastic. Today I want to talk to a few more and see what actually Thai Craft Fair is about. So let's have a look. I want to do some shopping and see what there is. I'm here with Stephen Salmon, the co-founder of the Thai Craft Fair. So Stephen, thank you so much for taking the time out of the fair to come and talk to me today.
Well, it's great, and our producers obviously appreciate having lots of people coming and being interested in their products, because they're here and they want to sell their products. They want to show what kinds of things, handmade things, can still be done here in Thailand to a very high quality.
Fantastic. So what is the actual Thai Craft Fair? You're saying about your producers showing the
Well, Thai Craft Fair is basically a fair in which groups of producers in all parts of the country are invited to come to sell their products. We tend to aim towards an expatriate market, and so it is not the same as the OTOP fairs, but they are it's a self-running organization that funds itself from its own resources, from the marketing, but we give the real-life marketing experience to village craft producers and small groups who otherwise find it very difficult to get themselves established and get into the market. At the same time, because they can come themselves into the market, they can learn about what will sell, what people like, and all those kinds of things as well.
And how long has it been going for?
Well, this is our 20th year.
20?
Yeah,
Wow.
20th year. So it's been a long, long time since we started doing the thing. Right from the word go, we've had lots of customers coming. So there have been hundreds of thousands of customers coming through our fair over the years. And we have altogether, at the moment, we're working with about 70 different producer groups all over the country.
70?
70, yeah.
And how often do you have the Thai Craft Fair? Is it once a year, twice a year?
Well, it's been different sort of ways in the past, but in the last few years we've made sure that we had at least one fair every month, sometimes a little bit more. Yeah.
Fantastic.
It's having a market throughout the year, which is so useful for the producers. If they just have one fair or two fairs that they can go to, that really doesn't help them to create an industry within their own village. But having a regular fair, a regular thing to come to market at, really does help them to get into the idea of what selling and producing into a market really is and what can be done.
Okay, and is it a regular place that you have it? I mean, you have it every month?
Yes.
Okay.
We do move around a little bit for some certain fairs, like today we are at Bangladesh Hospital. But at other times we have a regular fair at one particular place, which at the moment is a hall within the Church of Christ in Thailand building. Their administrative offices, which is quite easy to find because it's right off Rajateri BTS. Yeah.
Opposite the V Hotel.
That's right, and very near the Asia Hotel. But if you come off the SkyTrain, you walk straight down onto the street, and within 100 meters you're there right in front of the building.
Nice and easy. And
So
then
it's nice
twice
and
a
easy.
year you come to Bumrungrad.
Twice a year we come to Bangladesh. We also go to some international schools as well.
Okay.
Yeah, ISB twice a year, and we get invited to various other venues as well.
That's great. It's
So-
really exciting. Now I see there's a few people walking around with I'm a volunteer
Yes.
on them. What's
Yes,
that about?
well, one of the ways in which our producers know they can get so much support is by the fact that there are always volunteers, always people around who would say, can we come and help? Can we do this? Now, this is something that we organize because we know that helps in, and again, a win-win situation. It helps volunteers to get to know a little bit more about the culture of Thailand and meet the producers themselves, to be able to be involved in something which actually is helping the communities to market their products. But of course, it's also helping Thai craft to, in fact, spread its market. It's also that we don't need to employ a lot of extra people just for the fair day. We have our own full-time staff, a small group of local people. But it's wonderful to be able to have other people coming in and helping this way. And a lot of them are students. And we need other volunteers to hand out our leaflets. These are handouts we do for every fair. And of course, we would like to target these towards the kind of people who would like to buy the products.
Okay, so if people want to help out, they can.
Sure, they can take a few, put them on their office blocks, or where they work, where they live, various places. Then that helps a lot. Because and also at all the fairs, when we have our regular fairs, we also have what we call fun shops, not workshops, but fun shops. And fun shops are where one producer will come along and actually customers can then have a go at making the products in which they make. So we can learn how they're made and such like. And then of course people really understand how much skill really goes into making these products, which is usually very, very much. So
that's brilliant. Okay, so people can come down every month.
Absolutely,
yeah. That's fantastic. Well, I thank you very much for your time, because I want to head back into the Thai craft fair, because I have been coming here for many years. And in fact, I use this place to get my Christmas cards.
Right,
Because
great.
it's so amazing. Nobody at home will have Christmas cards like this.
Well,
it's got a Thai touch and it's
That's
handmade and it goes to the
right.
villages.
Exactly. And of course, they make wonderful stories for people when they go home.
Sure.
So yes.
Fantastic. Well, Stephen, thank you so
Okay.
much.
Thank you very much.
It's been really interesting to
Thank you.
have you.
Thank you, and hope to see you again soon. I hope to see everybody soon.
Absolutely. Thank you very
Great.
much.